Hey, what is going on, everybody? Welcome to Upkick MMA episode 504. I am Brendan. All right. UFC 319, Dricus Plessis taking on Khamzat Chimaev. Oh, my God. We're going to talk about that fight. We're going to talk about all the fights on the main card here. Go through some of the, not a whole lot of scorecards that we need to go through. A little bit. Not a lot of controversy. These fights taking place in Chicago. If you like this kind of thing, subscribe to the channel. The next videos come out. I really appreciate it. Not a lot of controversy on this card. Some decent finishes, but this main event, I had an opportunity to go to this fight. Just because of the location, it happens to be closer to home, so it wouldn't have been like too crazy to get there. But I had my doubts that one, Chimaev would even make it to the fight because of his past of visa issues and other things that are going on. So I was worried that I'm like, okay, what if they're going to change the main event, a week before or 2 weeks before, who are they going to put in there? I don't want to deal with that. And like, I sure as shit don't want to pay for, tickets to something and then that not be there. So, the same thing we all deal with when we're trying to buy tickets to live events, that kind of thing, like, or sporting events anyway. You just want to make sure that the thing that you're paying for is what you get. I was a little worried about that. And then it was mainly that. It was like the rest of the card didn't light my hair on fire. So I was like, it looks fun and it could be fun, but I wasn't so intrigued by it that I had to go. And boy, oh boy, am I glad I didn't. You guys tell me, did you guys enjoy the main event? Maybe I'm missing something. Like, even if you're a Chimaev fan, did you enjoy watching that? Was that enjoyable for 25 minutes? Or the better part of 30 minutes with the breaks in between? You tell me. Did you like that? Not whether or not it was like a dominant performance. That's to the side, right? Chimaev clearly won. Well, we can talk about it. There's not a whole lot to talk about. You can look at the striking numbers in each round. Total strikes tell a different story. The total strikes, I think, in round 3 were crazy. Round 1 apparently were crazy. But really, it's just a lot of control time. Total control time was, 21 minutes and 40 seconds for Chimaev. 21:40 out of the 25 with 0 sub attempts. I would almost say 0 attempts at finishing the fight. Okay, I don't think that's out of line to say. If not 0 attempts, very few over the 25 minutes. So tell me, did you enjoy watching that? Is that something that you're looking forward to? Is this like a champion that you really want to watch fight? He gets a takedown, gets on top in the whole round, 4 minutes and 47 seconds of control time, 131 total strikes, only 1 significant strike. There were more stand-ups in this fight in some rounds than there were significant strikes landed, it felt like. Second round, same thing. 4-0 for significant strikes. Third round, 19-1. Obviously, there's there's 170 or 156 significant or total strikes. 4 minutes and 46 seconds of control time. Fourth round, same thing. The fifth round only had the only moment of intrigue, in my opinion, and that's when DDP reversed, got on top with 2:30 left, and went for a guillotine. He jumped the guillotine. Like, he jumped for the guillotine, going for the finish. I don't know why. I'm armchair quarterback, and maybe he felt it, and he felt like it was a tight squeeze. Obviously, we can all look at that and say, oh, that was a stupid move. Yeah. But you're in there, and you feel it. You feel something, and you're like, oh, this is my moment. And if you've ever grappled before, you felt it. Like, obviously, very few of us, if any of us, have ever been involved in any sort of combat sport with these kind of stakes. So outside of that, right, you say like, oh, well, if the moment was bigger, I would definitely fight smarter. You probably wouldn't. You'd probably fight how you practice. And a lot of people, like, when you get to that moment, like, you can feel it. You're like, oh shit, there's my moment. This is it. I can feel it. And you go for that sub, whatever it is. It doesn't have to be a guillotine. It could be an arm bar, and you slip off the side or slip off the top, lose control of the wrist. You go for the back, and then you fall off the top. We've seen it happen a bunch of times, so I'm not going to sit here and criticize the guy for going for a finish. Plus, he was able to work his way back up and land a couple big shots. I think he landed the most significant strikes of the fight in this last round. He outstruck him 10-9. I think he landed the best strikes all fight. Maybe not. Maybe the third round, there's a couple ones from Chimaev that were pretty good. But, definitely on the feet, the best strikes came from Du Plessis in this 5th round. So, I scored it 50-44. I had the 10-8 was the third round. I think all 3 judges had it the same way. Yes, all the amount of Ron McCarthy did clearly. They all saw it the same way. 50-44. That's how I saw it. You can tell by my excitement level, I just didn't give a shit by the end. When I saw what was happening, I'm like, I'm not interested in this. This felt like Kamaru Usman versus oh my goodness, I feel so bad. Leon Edwards. The first one, right? He was just holding him down. Obviously, when in the first round, when Leon Edwards held him down, it was kind of interesting because it wasn't supposed to be happening. But for the most part, it was just a lot of holding. And then, we all remember it because of how it ended. But if it doesn't end that way with him winning, it goes down as like almost a meaningless fight. They're completely boring, right? Same thing here. I didn't see the excitement. I didn't see I wasn't really amped for this one either. I think Chimaev has skipped over a lot of challengers at middleweight. I think there's a lot of people now that he's champion. Now we can make a lot of fun fights. So that's cool. I think Anthony Hernandez would be a fun fight for him. Renier de Ridder, I really don't want to see that right now. I feel like he can fight somebody else in the top 5. I'll pull up the ranking for you guys. I'd rather see Anthony Hernandez go up and fight him. I think it's a better matchup. And Caballo, sure, throw him in there. I don't know where Israel Adesanya is, like what he's planning on doing. Sean Strickland, I think that fight would be dumb. We saw what happened, right? We saw what happened. And if this is going to be the division going forward, we just need somebody who can clear him out of there so we can have, fun fights again. Or hell, maybe he put this game plan together because he didn't want to strike with Du Plessis. That could be. Anyway, let's move on. That was a real letdown. Super boring. You guys let me know what you thought. And again, I'm not against real quick. For those of you guys who made it this far of my bitching, I'm not against grappling. Okay, I'm not. I'm very I love watching it when I see it. I don't go out of my way to watch it because I prefer MMA. That being said, this was not fun to watch. You can call it like it is. You don't have to like everything. When you watch a striking battle, right, and nobody's throwing strikes, is that fun to watch? No. So just because they're on the ground or on the feet doesn't inherently mean it's going to be exciting or boring. It's what happens when they get there. This was very boring, right? It takes 2 to tango, but one of those guys doing the tango who was in control of the thing wasn't looking for a finish. He just wanted control. When you do that, you get a boring fight. All right, co-main event, Lerone Murphy versus Aaron Pico. Aaron Pico making his UFC debut. How this one ended is unfortunate because I don't think it's an accurate depiction of, it's classic Pico, of course, right? Pico's all over him, landing up top, staggering Murphy, digging to the body with the left hook. They clinch up. Pico lands some low kicks, a huge left hook to the body. Murphy landed up top, but then Pico gets a takedown. He's just not letting him rest. He's staying in his face. Murphy is looking to land with the knee to the body or up top. He really wanted to counter Pico as he moved in, and that's what he did. He countered him with a spinning elbow, knocks him out cold, and he's done. So here's the thing. Pico has this habit of becoming complacent in fights because he's dominating them. And it's not, it doesn't seem like it's arrogance, although, it could be, right? It doesn't seem like it's arrogance. It's just he gets so comfortable out there dominating the guy that it's not that he's not defensively sound either. He just puts himself in these positions where he can take damage when he doesn't need to. And again, like I said, this is classic Pico, but I don't think this is necessarily that. Technically, he could have been caught by a left hand just as well as he did with that spinning elbow. I don't know if this is just a freak thing or if Aaron Pico is just always going to be this fighter where he's just an action guy, and when he gets up to the top, his tendencies get him in trouble and he always takes big shots. So we've seen enough evidence to know that that does kind of happen, but I'm not going to crucify him here just because he lost one fight via spinning, like a crazy spinning elbow. That's ridiculous. Speaking of spinning elbows, Geoff Neal versus Carlos Prates. Kind of a back and forth thing. Prates is a little bit of a weight bully here. He's way bigger than Murphy. Much taller than him, longer striker. But Neal was holding his own early. He was doing a pretty good job, starting with some low kicks of his own, catching the kick, landing some big left hands. Prates, but he was finding the body, working the body with those kicks, those knees. Neal really needed to extend the combinations because Prates was turning his back and literally running away from him, right? He was on his bike very much so in this first round. And Neal needed a punish, and he started to do it, but he didn't always do it, right? Every so often when Prates would turn his back and run away, Neal would chase him down and land a couple shots, but he would let him do it most of the time. He would let him run away most of the time to reset. And Prates, even when he wasn't technically running away and he was keeping his face to him, he was like circling, like lunging, big, giant lateral lunges to get to the center of the octagon. Like he wanted to back up straight, counter, and run. That's what he was doing. And, it led to, again, another spinning elbow to the side of the head right at the buzzer. It says 4:59, but it was not. It was at 5 minutes. Like he got him as late as possible in a round as you could. Great finish for Prates. Unfortunate for Geoff Neal. I mean, with the way that fight was going, I didn't know how Neal was going to win it unless he caught him with a big shot. He just looked like he was outmatched pretty much everywhere as the round moved on. All right, Jared Cannonier versus Michael Venom Page. Here's a great example. Remember what I said when I said I like grappling, right? If you like striking, did you find this fight interesting to watch? I think Michael Venom Page is fun to watch in spurts because that's how he fights. He fights in spurts. For the most part, he doesn't really use a lot of volume. And this isn't some like earth-shattering news here, right? This is how he fights. He moves fast. He plays around. Cannonier was walking him down, keeping him against the cage for a lot of this. Got him in the clinch. Here's the thing. When he was in the clinch, he had time. Like he had 2 minutes and 10 seconds, nearly 2 minutes in the second round of control time against the cage. And outside of him taking big shots, if he was able to do that and avoid those big shots, but here's the thing. I wrote it down in the last round. Early in every round, MVP would land a big shot. He would go out there, use a decent amount of energy, stay very active, and still pretty good defensively. But more importantly, he was actively looking for strikes. He was actively looking for damage and possibly a finish. And as the round went on, he kind of sat back and just became more defensively sound and evasive. He basically got up early on the damage, got a knockdown, and be like, okay, I'm good. And that's kind of what we saw. He countered a leg kick in this first round with a right hand, put him down for a second. It's just, clearly a 10-9 round for him. It's just as the whole fight is not fun to watch. Sorry. MVP is fun he makes it fun, but the fight itself isn't, right? So, how do I want to say this? The actual fighting action isn't the most entertaining. It's how Page moves, right? He dances around. He talks shit. He's very super evasive when he's like swooping his head around. He's fun to watch. His movements are fun to watch. The actual fighting, and sometimes it's punctuated by a strong finish. And then people remember that, that flying knee that crushed in the dude's skull. Cyborg, crushing his skull. But a lot of the fight is just Circle, 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 hold, hold, hold. Second round here. Page landing with the 1-2 off the fence. He drops him. He's talking to him. Cannonier is just not throwing enough, right? His calculated output is not working. It did not work. Anytime they were in space, you could see Cannonier is slowly backing him to the fence, calculating positions, looking for a shot, looking for good moments. It's not working. You just have to throw, right? You have to just engage. Just throw wild shit out there. Look stupid, sure, but that's how you get in there. You can't try to win a pretty fight against Page. It's probably not going to happen. And had he got into the clinch and not got dropped in this round, maybe he wins this round, right? Striking numbers are relatively close, 11-10 in favor of Page. But, he got dropped. 2018, last round. Page overswings, trips. He was doing pretty good, just like he did in the first couple rounds, looking for that activity early on, but he overswings, trips, and then ends up on his back. And Cannonier got in a mount, landed some decent stuff, got 4 minutes of control time, but Page stayed pretty defensively sound and didn't leave a lot of openings. So, MVP gets a win. Yeah, there were just no wars on this card, and good for them, for their health, but it doesn't make for the most enjoyable experience. Tim Elliott versus Kai Asakura. Boy, I feel bad for Asakura. Because nobody looks good against Tim Elliott. That's not true. It's just hard to look good against Tim Elliott. Really hard to look good against him. He's so weird. He's turning sideways, showing him his back, giving him his butt, and like throwing legs. He didn't do it on this one, but he'll hop on one leg and then kick you. Asakura was looking to dart in fast with that right hand, and early on he was finding the mark more often. But as the round went on, Elliott was evading a lot of the damage, right? Asakura is just watching Elliott move weird from the outside, and when he moves, he lands hard to the body and coming up top with the right hand, making Elliott back up, but he wasn't throwing that much as the fight went on. I don't know. Maybe he was, again, that same thing. It's much different than obviously Michael Venom Page. Elliott is not that kind of striker or movement. It doesn't have that kind of movement, but it's similar in that he just does a bunch of stuff. Right? What a dumb way to say that, right? But that's what I'm saying. Like, he's just doing a bunch of things, right? Now, each thing and what their purpose are it varies obviously greatly from MVP, but the way Asakura was just throwing big and swinging big and missing at least put him in a position to land. And had Cannonier done that against MVP, maybe he would have had more success. Anyway, this first round, Elliott catches a kick, gets a takedown with side control with 45 seconds left. Here's the thing. I thought Elliott could find a path to victory with possible takedown. I don't know how that fits into what he was doing, but I felt like if it got to the ground, he could possibly get... because the way he was moving and staying on the outside, it didn't feel like he was really working for takedowns. So I didn't know how that fit into his game plan. I gave this round to Asakura. I felt like he landed the bigger strikes. 16-11 were the total strikes. 6 of those were leg kicks, and they were really soft leg kicks. Those were not hard leg kicks from Elliott. Second round, a couple big left hands from Elliott is landing. It looked like Asakura slowed down a little. Not because he was tired, but he was more contemplative about how he was moving, and he didn't want to throw things out there and get taken down. It seemed like that backfired, though, because Elliott gets a takedown. They get right back up, but then Elliott leans away. He leans away, gives him his hip, right? He gives him his hip, points his butt at him a little bit, dodges the strike, and then ducks under. It was really pretty to watch, just so slick. And then gets on top. He goes for a guillotine, gets to mount from the guillotine, and gets the finish. He got the tap. Great job for Elliott. Just Asakura just running into, obviously his first fight in the UFC fighting Alessandro Pantoja. You can call it not fair, whatever you want. Just, going out there and fighting one of the best of all time in the division. That's a rough ask. And then you go against Tim Elliott, who's just so weird. And as savvy and as a big of a veteran as they come, known to be a dirty fighter. He'll do whatever it takes to win in there. Not a fan of that, but you have to contend with that when you're in there because he's going to do it. So I don't know what to tell you guys. Like, Asakura has these skills and this ability, and he looks fantastic, but the UFC really set him up for failure here. They really set him up for failure. I feel like Tim Elliott is not a guy you want to give to somebody on their UFC debut, no matter how good they are, just because of the chance of like this happening. Even if Asakura wins, it's just an awkward, weird-looking win. Anyway, that's it for UFC 319. Let me know what you guys thought. Did you guys really enjoy it? I felt like the prelims were okay. The main card was all right. I wouldn't go back and watch this probably ever. There's no reason for me to go back and watch this. Let me know what you guys thought. If you like this kind of thing, subscribe to the channel. When the next video is coming out, I really appreciate it. I hope you guys have an amazing week. Peace. Love y'all.